Someone is holding you gently right now, even if you cannot see their hands, even if you feel alone in the room you are sitting in. This holding is not loud. It does not demand your attention. It does not ask you to perform, explain, or prove anything. It is quiet, patient, and steady. It exists because at some point in your life, you chose trust over fear. You chose openness over armor. You showed someone, perhaps without realizing it, what trust really means. Trust is not given easily by a soul that has been wounded. Trust is not naive hope or blind faith. True trust is born after pain, after disappointment, after nights where you questioned God, questioned people, and questioned yourself. When you still decided to open your heart again, not because the world was safe, but because you refused to let bitterness become your identity, something sacred happened. God noticed. The universe shifted. And someone learned how to be gentle because of you. You may not remember the moment clearly. It may have been a conversation where you spoke your truth without hiding. It may have been silence where you stayed instead of walking away. It may have been forgiveness offered when you had every right to close your door forever. In that moment, you taught another soul how to touch life without hurting it. You showed them that trust is not weakness. It is strength wrapped in softness. Right now, pause your breathing for just a second. Then inhale slowly, deeply, as if you are drawing light into your chest. Hold it. Exhale gently. Feel how your body responds to gentleness. This is not accidental. Your nervous system remembers safety, even if your mind forgets. Somewhere along the way, someone felt safe with you. And that safety still exists, echoing through time, held in God's memory. God works through moments we often overlook. We expect thunder, signs, dramatic miracles. But God also works through the way you listened without interrupting. Through the way you didn't judge when someone confessed their fear. Through the way you stayed kind even when you were exhausted. These are holy acts. These are prayers without words. These are offerings that never go unnoticed. There are people walking this earth who breathe differently because of you. They love differently because of you. They learn that it is possible to be accepted without conditions because you live that truth, even imperfectly. You don't need to know their names. You don't need recognition. God knows the chain reaction your heart created. You may feel broken right now. You may feel like you are the one who needs to be held. And here is the divine paradox. You are being held precisely because you once held others with your trust. Life is circling back to you. What you gave is returning. Not always from the same direction, not always in the same form, but with the same essence. Let your shoulders soften. Release the tension you have been carrying as proof of survival. You don't need to carry it anymore. You have already shown courage. You have already proven your strength. Now you are allowed to rest inside the arms of grace, God does not measure your worth by productivity, success, or perfection. God measures your soul by the love it was willing to risk. Every time you trusted, you placed your heart in God's hands, even if you didn't consciously realize it. And God never drops what is entrusted to Him. There is a reason you feel deeply. A reason you sense shifts in energy, moods, and unspoken emotions. A reason silence speaks to you louder than noise. You were designed to understand trust at a cellular level. This does not make life easier, but it makes it meaningful. And meaning is what sustains you when comfort disappears. Someone learned how to be gentle because you didn't harden yourself. You could have. You were justified. But you didn't. That choice rewired something in the spiritual fabric of this world. It matters more than you know. Now imagine yourself sitting in a quiet space. No expectations. No labels. Just you and God. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the support that has always been there, even during your darkest nights. Say nothing. Let your breath become your prayer. Let your existence be enough. God sees the moments when you doubted yourself but still showed up. When you were scared but still loved. When you wanted to withdraw but chose connection. These moments are written in light, not ink. They are eternal. If you are tired, it is because you have been strong for a long time. If you feel sensitive, it is because your heart is still open. If you feel unseen, it is because your giving was selfless. None of this is a failure. It is evidence of a soul that trusted life even when life was unkind. Someone is holding you gently now. It may be God Himself, through peace that suddenly washes over you for no logical reason. It may be through a stranger's kindness. It may be through rest finally finding you. It may be through this very moment, where you feel understood without having to explain. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not foolish for trusting. Trust is never wasted. Even when it seems misplaced, it teaches others how to be human. Stay with your breath for a few more moments. Inhale acceptance. Exhale self-blame. Inhale grace. Exhale regret. Let the rhythm remind you that life is still moving through you with purpose. God is not asking you to close your heart. God is asking you to let it be held. To receive what you have always given. To believe that gentleness can return to you multiplied. You don't need to chase love. You don't need to prove your value. You don't need to harden yourself to survive. The world may reward hardness, but God rewards sincerity. And sincerity is your language. There will be days when trust feels heavy again. When memories resurface. When you question whether it was worth it. On those days, remember this truth. Someone learned how to love without fear because you showed them it was possible. That lesson cannot be undone. You are safe to rest now. Safe to soften. safe to be held. The same God who watched you choose trust is now surrounding you with the same care. Stay here for a moment longer. Let gratitude arise naturally, without forcing it. Gratitude for your heart. Gratitude for your courage. Gratitude for the unseen connections your soul has created. And when you open your eyes and return to the world, carry this knowing quietly inside you: your trust changed something eternal. And you are never alone in its echo. The echo of what you gave is still moving, like a gentle wave that never breaks, only widens. You may not hear it, but you can feel it in moments when your chest softens for no clear reason, when tears rise without pain, when calm arrives unexpectedly. That is not coincidence. That is remembrance. That is the soul recognizing that it is safe, even if the mind is still learning. There are seasons when God allows you to feel empty. Not as punishment, but as preparation. An empty cup can be filled. A clenched hand cannot receive. You have been learning how to unclench, slowly, patiently, breath by breath. Even your exhaustion has been holy. Even your confusion has been part of the unfolding. Sit with this truth gently: you were never meant to carry everything alone. You did it because you were capable, because you were strong, because you didn't want to burden anyone. But God never asked you to be invincible. God asked you to be real. And you have been real in ways that healed others. Close your eyes again, just for a moment. Imagine a light resting on your shoulders, warm and steady. Not pressing. Not demanding. Just present. This is how divine support feels. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't shout instructions. It simply stays. You may have noticed how life keeps bringing you moments of quiet reflection, even when you try to stay busy. That is God inviting you back into yourself. Not the version shaped by expectations, disappointments, or survival, but the original version, the one that trusted before fear learned how to speak loudly. Trust does not mean you will never be hurt again. It means you will not abandon yourself when hurt appears. And that is the deepest lesson you taught without realizing it. You stayed with yourself. You stayed honest. You stayed soft where others would have hardened. Someone watched you do that. Someone absorbed that frequency. Someone learned that gentleness does not make you disappear, it makes you unforgettable. If your heart feels tender right now, do not rush to protect it. Tenderness is not exposure, it is truth. God meets you there, in the unguarded places, because that is where transformation happens. Not through force, but through surrender. Notice your breath again. Let it slow naturally. With every inhale, imagine drawing in peace that does not depend on circumstances. With every exhale, release the need to understand everything right now. Understanding will come. For now, presence is enough. You are allowed to receive without guilt. Allowed to rest without explanation. Allowed to be loved without earning it. These permissions do not come from the world, they come from God. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling deeply. There is nothing wrong with you for trusting again. There is nothing wrong with you for believing that goodness can still exist. These qualities are not flaws, they are spiritual intelligence. Sometimes God places you in the role of the teacher without telling you. You teach through how you listen, how you forgive, how you remain open even when disappointed. You taught trust by embodying it. And now life is gently shifting your role, from giver to receiver, from holder to held. If resistance rises inside you, notice it without judgment. Resistance is often just an old protector, afraid of change. Thank it. Then let it rest. You are safe now in ways you weren't before. The love that is meant for you will not require you to shrink. The peace that is coming will not ask you to numb yourself. The next chapter of your life will not be built on proving your worth, but on honoring it. God does not rush sacred things. And you are sacred. Remain here for a few breaths longer. Let stillness speak. Let silence hold you. You don't need answers right now. You only need to remember who you are beneath the noise. When you move forward again, do so gently. Carry your trust like a light, not a shield. Let it illuminate, not exhaust you. The right hands will know how to hold it, and they will hold you too. As you continue forward, there will be moments when you wonder if your softness is a liability in a world that often rewards sharp edges. In those moments, let your breath return you to truth. Sharp edges cut quickly, but they also wound the hand that holds them. Softness endures. Softness adapts. Softness survives storms without losing its shape. God did not give you a tender heart by accident. He entrusted you with it because He knew you would learn how to protect it without closing it. That balance is rare. That balance is sacred. And it is still unfolding within you. Even now, there may be memories that rise like waves, old conversations, old goodbyes, old disappointments. Let them come without resistance. Memories are not here to punish you, they are here to release their hold. When you meet them with awareness instead of judgment, they soften and pass. This is healing in motion. Place one hand on your chest, if you can. Feel the quiet rhythm beneath your palm. That rhythm has carried you through everything you thought you wouldn't survive. It has never betrayed you. It has never stopped believing in life. Let that be enough proof that you are guided. Someone, somewhere, still carries the imprint of your trust. They may not think of you daily. They may not even realize why they changed. But they are gentler. And gentleness spreads invisibly, like prayer. You are not required to go back to people who couldn't hold your heart with care. Trust does not mean self-abandonment. Wisdom has grown alongside your openness. You now recognize the difference between those who receive your trust and those who consume it. This discernment is not bitterness, it is grace with boundaries. God honors boundaries. Even oceans have shores. If you feel a quiet loneliness at times, understand this: growth often creates distance. Not because you are losing connection, but because you are changing frequency. You no longer resonate with chaos disguised as passion, or intensity mistaken for love. Your nervous system seeks peace now. That is not avoidance. That is maturity. Breathe into that peace. Let it expand slowly. There is no rush. You are not late. You are exactly where your soul needs to be to receive what comes next. God's timing is not linear. What feels delayed is often aligning. What feels quiet is often gestating. Seeds grow in darkness before they ever meet light. And you, too, have been growing beneath the surface. You may notice that you no longer crave validation the way you once did. This is not indifference. This is self-trust taking root. When you trust yourself, you no longer need constant reassurance from the world. Still, even the strongest roots need rain. You are allowed to need others. You are allowed to lean. You are allowed to be seen in your vulnerability again, without reliving old pain. This time, you will recognize safe hands more quickly. God is teaching you how to receive without fear. How to be loved without bracing for loss. How to rest without waiting for the other shoe to drop. These lessons are gentle, but profound. Sit with this awareness. The same love you extended outward is now circling back inward. Not as a test, not as a trial, but as a gift. Let yourself accept it without questioning its legitimacy. If doubt whispers that peace won't last, acknowledge the whisper and let it pass. Peace is not fragile. It does not shatter easily. It is resilient, patient, and deeply rooted, just like you are becoming. There is nothing you need to fix right now. Nothing you need to chase. Nothing you need to prove. Your presence is enough. Your breath is enough. Your being is enough. Stay still for one more moment. Let gratitude settle gently, not as obligation, but as recognition. Recognition of how far you've come. Recognition of the unseen hands guiding you. Recognition of the quiet strength within you. You are being prepared for a love that feels like home, not like survival. A connection that feels steady, not consuming. A life that feels aligned, not forced, and when it arrives, you will recognize it, not because it is dramatic, but because it is gentle, and when gentleness finally feels normal to you, not rare or surprising, you will understand how far you have traveled within yourself. You will realize that peace no longer feels empty, and quiet no longer feels lonely. It feels full. It feels alive. It feels like God breathing with you instead of asking anything from you. There will come a moment, soft, almost unnoticeable, when you recognize that you are no longer waiting to be held. You already are. By life. By grace. by a presence that has been walking beside you long before you learned how to name it. The seeking will dissolve, not because you gave up, but because you arrived. Your heart will still feel deeply. That will never change. But it will no longer ache in the same way. It will feel spacious instead of heavy, open instead of exposed. You will trust not because you are hoping for a certain outcome, but because trust has become your nature. God has been reshaping your inner world quietly, patiently, without force. Where fear once lived, there is now awareness. Where doubt once echoed, there is now discernment. Where you once braced for loss, you now allow connection without gripping it. This is not learned overnight. This is earned through surrender. You will notice how your presence soothes others without effort. How people speak more honestly around you. How silence feels safe in your company. This is not something you try to do. It is something you are. The residue of all the trust you chose, even when it scared you, and you will finally understand that nothing you gave was wasted. Not the love. Not the patience. Not the forgiveness. Not even the tears. Everything became wisdom. Everything became depth. Everything became preparation. If you ever forget, return to your breath. It will remind you that you are still connected, still supported, still guided, still held. God does not leave His work unfinished. And you are His work. Rest now, not as an ending, but as a pause between blessings. Let your soul remain soft. Let your trust remain alive. Let your heart remain open, without apology. You are safe to be here. You are safe to be you. You are safe to receive, and you always have been.